when your team is trained on systems and technology and workflows and the ways to behave and ways not to behave and how to try to help get everybody to be cross-trained, when you do that, you just have a better life. When you really take the time, you step back. Yes, it does cost money, but all education costs money. I don't know any education rarely is free. There is a cost to it, it seems at first, because of course you're paying your team for the day or whatever, and there's no production. However, what you get in return is, so much more. And so keeping your team together and having everybody understand and respect one another and do things to help each other out is invaluable. It's priceless. Welcome to the Truth About Dentistry podcast. I am Dr. Peggy Bound, a successful solo dental practice owner in St. John, New Brunswick. After years of figuring out how I wanted to practice, I now run a fully digital clinic providing my own brand of dentistry on my own terms. It wasn't easy, and I'm still learning, but I know I have so much knowledge to share. This podcast is created to help inspire young dentists or anyone looking to transition to a more digital practice. I aim to give you actionable step-by-step strategies to help you navigate the modern dentistry landscape. If you're looking to become more digital, improve your skills, or even have a more profitable practice, then this podcast is for you. Now let's get started. Okay, I have to say, I'm really excited about this topic. I think mostly because it's just fun and I really think it's going to help you. So if you are a dentist or you are a team member, or you think you can influence your dentist to do this, I think you guys should try it this way. Maybe a lot of offices do this, but what I'm talking about is team training days. Team training days they don't have to be the whole day. We do about 4 a year. Once a year, it's a full day. And then the other 3 times, it's about 2 to 3 hours. There's a little bit of a formula to it, so we're going to share that with you. And also, I'm going to go through kind of how we do it and some of the ideas that we've done. And then at the end, in the show notes, there's going to be a link for one of the types of team training days that we've done. So if you want to check that out, you will be able to see that at the end. Okay, so again, why do this? I don't know, it probably goes without saying, honestly, but when your team is trained on systems and technology and workflows and the ways to behave and ways not to behave and how to try to help get everybody to be cross-trained, when you do that, you just have a better life. And it brings the team together. It's a team building exercise as in addition to being team training and integration, and just it gives everybody on the team an understanding of other people's situations. Like, you don't know what it's like to be, or you're never going to know what it's like. If you're not a receptionist, you're never going to know what it's like to be a receptionist, but you do want to hear about and learn about some of the things that they also need to know, or vice versa, in order to respect them and have a clinic that runs better because we all understand what the other person needs to do. So goes without saying, like I said, but when you really take the time, you step back. Yes, it does cost money, but all education costs money. I don't know any education rarely is free. There is a cost to it, it seems at first, because of course you're paying your team for the day or whatever, and there's no production. However, what you get in return is, so much more. And so keeping your team together and having everybody understand and respect one another and do things to help each other out is invaluable. It's priceless. So how do we, first of all, prepare for the team training days? I would say, yes, you can kind of like plot out like for the year, like these are the things I want the team to learn this year. But honestly, we just 2 to 3 weeks before, we start to think about like, what do we want to put into the team training? And we start to question, where are things not working quite right in the clinic right now? What are the things that seem to be constantly, like this person just keeps not knowing this, or our hygienists are I really want them to learn this. Oh, wait, we can put that on the team training day. So we start to build a little bit of an idea, sort of a brainstorm as to what we want to have. And it's pertinent, it's relevant to what we're doing what's needed for the clinic at that time. So that's the first thing. And then as it starts to kind of, form, you want to be prepared at least a few days in advance, because there may be certain materials and things that you want to pick up. So when we do it sort of, and I'll get into this, but we do usually something really fun, or maybe there's prizes or some whatever. You want to have that stuff all prepared. You don't want to be like rushing around the night before. However, full disclosure, I have rushed around the night before. But we always pull it off. Anyway, so try not to do that. Try to really get yourself thinking. Ask people on the team, what do you think we should put in there? You want to get feedback, and you want to make sure it's relevant and helpful to what the team is going through at this time. And again, if you did it a year ahead of time, you may not know, and there may be less of a problem later on. You may have solved it already. So do that. Now, like I said, there is a formula. So I'm going to go through this formula. And like I said, I'm going to leave the formula for one of ours, the ones that we're doing, in the show notes as well. So if you'd like to pick that up, I'd love to hear that someone actually used it, and then give us the feedback on what you thought of that. Just DM us in Instagram, or message me or email me at peggy@smilesbybam.com. Okay, so the formula. Well, how should any meeting begin? Even our team, even our monthly meetings, they begin with something fun. First of all, so always sort of start with something inspiring. I say something, and again, as the leader of the team, I think the dentist, or one of the more senior or leadership type people on the team, should do this. In our case, of course, it's me and Quincy usually. Quincy does a lot of the background work, but we want to have something really fun. We want to everybody just got in. And the time of day, by the way, we always have ours in the morning. So we don't have at the end of the day. I used to have team trainings or team meetings end of day. By that time, everybody's hungry, tired, and they're not focused. So if you want the most out of your team, you got to use the best part of the day. So we try to start, we'll start at 10 to 8 or 8 o'clock sharp. And we will start with something really fun. So we'll have an activity. Oh my gosh, there's been so many activities. And it really gets everybody going. And so it's not like, oh, okay, this is what we're going to talk about today. That's really hard. It's hard on the person leading the training. It's hard on the people who are, just sometimes people are just waking up, or they had a rough morning. So you got to do something to get the blood flowing and make it fun and exciting. Now you have their attention. You have their brains at optimal. It's the time of day. Everybody's fed. I will usually bring, we'll supply, coffee, fruit, and all these things. We've got everybody ready to learn. So that will usually take it can take anywhere from 10 to maybe maximum 25 minutes or so. You don't want it too long, but depending on what it is, and depending on how long your team training is, you're just going to prorate it for that. So if you only have a 2-hour team training, then of course it's not going to take up a half an hour. That would be crazy. So just think about it from that angle. The next thing you want to do is we break it into, okay, we're going to have something that we want the whole team to learn. So it's a full team education. I'll have a projector. I may have special seating. I'll bring everybody out again, I can do presentations in our reception area as opposed to just in our kitchen. We want to change up the environment, and we want to have something that our whole team. Now, when we do the whole team together, it can be, you can bring in a speaker. We can have your coach. You can have your somebody who supplies certain things to your clinic. It can be something could be on Steri, or it could be something that you want the whole team to know, that is a bigger picture. But again, they're at their peak, for listening and all that. For an example, like I said, we've had speakers, or we do, let's say, okay, we are a special type of clinic, so we want to have people knowing what's the process for consults, and people are coming in for aesthetics and things like that. The next thing we want to do are breakouts. So not everybody needs to know everything about everything. So I might want to have a special focus team breakout with my hygienist, and then the reception team, they may need to have a special strategic, there might be something new that with the software, with Weave, or with Dentrix, whatever, they need to know those things. So we're going to do team breakouts. Now, team breakouts, or can be teams can be broken into, okay, we're mixing it up with just random teams, or it can be teams based on what their area of the clinic is. So it could be hygienists, dental assistants, and dentists, but the dentist is usually with one of those groups, and then the reception team. So it's however you want to do it, but it's more of like a breakout style, right? And then we really want to make sure that we do like a wrap up. So if it's a full day, that's a little bit different. That's a huge, much more organized event time. But if it's only 2 hours, you got to stay on time. So one of the ideas Quincy's had is she's, for example, we did like a cruise ship theme one time, and she had like the horn, like for the cruise ship to blow, like when we had to be done in our breakouts. It's really super fun, and everybody kind of got it. So you knew you only had a certain amount of time to learn this. So we can't let it all run over, and then you didn't get to do everything you had planned in your team training. Make sure you run on time, like you're really, really careful about that. And that again is also very well planned out.
Do you want to become the modern dentist in your area? Our on-demand and live mentorship will help you stand out, attract your ideal patients, and build a niche-based practice. This A to Z training is for dentists and team who desire the digital workflows and skills to operate a thriving digital practice, helping you stand out in a crowded market. This course is the culmination of Dr. Bound's 20-plus years of experience in building a patient experience that patients will pay more for. Learn from our on-demand courses or receive a more customized experience with our mentorship program as we guide you through the curriculum. You can find out more from the link in the show notes. Or, if you aren't quite ready to take the plunge, you can also find the link to our freebie consult photography guide, which will help you get the right shot on the first attempt. Now back to the episode.
We really also will put in like a new concept or something that we're really excited about that's coming. It could be we're just kind of giving everybody a heads up, and then we're going to follow up in a monthly meeting or something like that. But we generally bring the whole team back together at the very end. And we, make sure that people don't have questions. We put one person responsible for each type of breakout to kind of put together like a little summary of what they learned, and then make sure that that's followed up, because we don't want this training to go to waste. And sometimes you just hear something once, you don't get to do it. You don't actually practice it. So you got to check back, okay, what did we do at the last team training? And did we start to really implement those things? Was it valuable? Do we need to go over that again? And just look at those things, because, as you start your day after the team training, if it is, again, only a 2 hour, you're probably starting your day now at like 10 a.m., you want to bring everybody back together and make sure you're checking in with everybody, that they feel that it was a positive, helpful thing, and that you actually are going to change some of your systems or your workflows or something that you got out of it. A little point, though, with these training days, if you can, and don't just do this because I said you should, if you have someone in your office who's really creative and likes to think of themes, it's like a party, right? If there's a theme, everybody's like a little bit more into it. So we have, with our team training days, had themes. Amongst the coolest themes, I actually think, one has been like a cruise ship theme, where it's different parts of the boat, like, the top deck, the lower deck, the different parts of the boat. And then each room had a different like title. So outside the rooms, they're labeled. Now we did this with other things too. So we had, you may have seen on my stories one time, we did an Olympic day or Olympic team training day, and each type of person or job description in the office, they were from a certain country. So there was Sinstantonia and, like Hygienia. So we made up countries for each type of thing. Another thing that was done was we had it like a music fest kind of theme, where it was like everybody had like their badges, and there was like different music, and it was called Bonnaroo. So I don't know if you heard of Bonnaroo. Anyway, I'm not a big music goer, but I know Quincy came out with that one. Also, we've done, trying to think, there's Amazing Race. Yes, so this is the one we're going to be putting in the show notes for a link. So that one we're just actually doing ourselves in the next few days. So you'll probably see that on my stories, or this will be already posted by the time we do this. But again, the idea of the Amazing Race. So when we've got these types of teams, we've also got this opportunity to have prizes, or ways like to get points. So each team really tries really hard. Let's say it could be scanning times. Let's say it's the Olympic training day, or it could be like coming up with a theme song for their country. So, just making it like that element of fun, just something that makes it worthy of talking about to their other friends and their colleagues and their family, and it just enhances it. But don't do it just because I said, really, you should find someone on the team, or maybe it's you, who really would think that would be easy for you and it would come naturally. So I really hope that was helpful. I don't know if there's anything I missed. I'm trying to think, but I generally feel that if you have a plan, you book off these times ahead in your schedule, so that your hygienists are free, because they're always going to be booking patients into things. So you want to make sure that the blockouts for the team trainings are done well in advance, but you don't necessarily know the topic in advance, right? And and so I'd really love to hear if you feel that there's something that I missed, or that you do in your clinic, or if you found this helpful. Yeah, try it out yourself and let us know what you think. So that's it, guys. Thanks. I'll see you guys next time.